Okay, so we're back with lesson 3, and this is exercise 11, and now we'll start to mix up the right hand a little bit. This is in the key of D, so we'll just use D, A, and G. There'll be a couple things that we'll want to talk about in terms of some fingering that may cause some transitional problems. But so we'll have a new pattern in the right hand. It's kind of a combination of what we did before, and I'm playing my G like this. I'm not getting the third in there. So for this, I'm just doing this. You can put that in there if you want, but you will need these on the top. We're going to play both of those. So the pattern is going to be starting on the root note on this D and going thumb, 1, 2, 1, thumb, 3 on the top string. And then 1, 2. So it'll look and sound like this. I'll play it slowly. Thumb, 1, 2, 1, thumb, 3, 1, 2. So again, my first finger's on the third string, second finger on the second, third finger. So those aren't moving. It's just the order changes a little. And you'll see that when you start learning a bunch of songs, there are a bunch of variations on these patterns. So that's why I kind of laid this out like this, so that you get a pretty foundational pattern and then get comfortable with kind of mixing it up. So it's not always ascending or descending, and sometimes you do some string skipping. So this is in 4/4, and what I think is going to present a difficulty, and you'll hear it because it's just me, there's nothing else going on. Getting out of this, I think it's out of the A chord into this G. That won't be too bad. But maybe getting out of that G into the D, because we have that open string ringing on the third string. And sometimes that really bothers people, but I just hear that as like someone playing guitar. You don't want it to be really loud and obnoxious, but there are some things that come with just the physicality of playing guitar, especially acoustic, where string vibration, hand position, chord progression, open strings, you're going to hear some noises, but we'll try to keep that as clean as we can. So we talked about the pattern on the D chord. On the A chord, it'll be similar. I'm going to hit the 5th string and go thumb, and then I skip a string, I go to the 3rd string. 1, 2, 1, I come back to the thumb, and with my 3rd finger, I get on that top string again. 1, 2. So thumb, 1, 2, 1, thumb, 3, 1, 2. And then for the G, thick string, root with my thumb, and then I jump to the 3rd string. I'm keeping these fingers here. And then it's the same pattern. Thumb, 1, 2, 1, thumb, 3, 1, 2. Okay, so let's try it about that tempo. It repeats 4 times. And I don't think there are any other chord variations, so. Okay, here we go. Okay, now we'll try it just a little bit slower so you can maybe work on the right hand pattern a little bit since it changes. So here's a little bit slower tempo. Okay, and you want to go ahead and play through this, at least twice. I would repeat it 2, 4 times, like just pretend that you're playing a song and this is a verse of a song, because then you'll have to deal with things as they pop up. I mean, there were a couple times when I was playing the A that my third finger got a little too close to the fret, so I had to adjust because I could hear it kind of buzzing a little bit. And then that transition, I believe it's the bottom of the first page, that D getting into the G, that's what I was talking about with that sound right there. The first finger coming off the third string, and then the second finger coming off the first string to try to get into that transition. So I would definitely work on leaving my third finger down and keeping the same pressure applied. So I don't, come off of the D and then relieve all the pressure and then try to get into the G, because then you'll probably get that second string ringing as well. Like that. So I would leave the pressure down on the second string, third finger. So when I go to the G, I'm just putting my pinky down and bringing my second finger over. Now, hopefully, putting this pinky down gives you the time you need to get that second finger out of there so you don't hear that move, right? So I kind of try to get my pinky down to cover that move a little bit. Now, this is being really nitpicky. Fingerstyle guitar, it's a lot harder than you think in some ways because of all these little noises. But the part of it that's easier than you think is once you get the pattern down in the right hand, you usually just have to deal with chords as they come by, even when you start introducing bar chords. So usually the pattern doesn't change a lot in a song. There might be variations, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for the pattern to be changing all the time because it would just be too distracting. So once you get the right hand pattern, you're just trying to change the chords cleanly. So don't drive yourself crazy with it trying to be perfect. We're just trying to build a baseline technique here that will help you expand your options as a songwriter or as a rhythm guitar player, and even as a lead player a lot. I use my fingers. I play a lot with a pick and then utilizing these fingers. If I could be finger picking or playing like licks and that kind of stuff. I do that a lot. A lot of guitar players do. So getting used to at least using those other two fingers will give you a lot more options. So let's go ahead and move on to exercise 12, and we'll see what we're in for.